My name's Orson. I have here with me Pinball Extraordinaire, knows a very lot about machines, Mr. Rod Brooks. Rod has brought us today one of his machines. This is a Dracula. I do not own a Dracula. Rod, whoever does own a Dracula, I wouldn't be surprised if this Dracula Rod purchased from you. Yep. Yes. In 1993. Okay. You like this game?
I do like this game. It's a different game, but I do like it. I think it's a good game.
What is it you like about this game?
I don't mind games that are not overly complicated with game rules. This is not overly complicated. The real thing in this game is to stack multi-balls. There's 3 different multi-balls, and you have to stack them. So you get one going, the second one, the third going, and you double or triple your jackpots.
Gotcha.
It's quite a fun game in that respect.
It's a 2-flipper game?
It's a 2-flipper game, yes. Now this was one of the ones that originally came with the lightning bolt flippers, with the shorter flippers. I think we've spoken about that before with Black Rose, Fishtails, Doctor Who. This was another game. I've put red flippers in because last time I read Rabbit, I just decided to put red in. But originally it came with the lightning bolt flippers. So the gap between the flippers was 6mm bigger.
Right. Okay. Was this made sometime around the Flintstones?
No, so this was made immediately preceding Twilight Zone.
Only asked because it's got a house that looks like something out of Flintstones.
It was in between Creature from the Black Lagoon and Twilight Zone.
Right. Okay. Cool. Was it a big seller?
It wasn't, and in fact, I do remember having a discussion with the salesman because I had a standing order of 2, and he said, I can't give you any Draculas. There's just not enough coming. And I persisted with him. He said, I'll give you 1, but you can't have 2.
Was that because it was so popular?
No, they were scaling back this because Twilight Zone was about to hit.
Okay. So there are only a few thousand of these made, or do you think there were more than that?
I think in the high 6s or maybe low 7s.
Okay.
7,000, around that sort of.
Sure. Okay. So have you had any problems with this machine over the years?
Yeah, so the main feature of this you can't see. It's called missed multi-ball. So the ball will travel across the playfield on a magnet, travels across to the other side. It runs on a big worm drive. There's not so much a problem with the motor and gearbox, but there's a switch that they use to detect when the ball is no longer on the magnet. So the idea is the ball comes on the magnet and you hit it with the other ball and you knock it off and then you're in multi-ball. It's what they call a long-range OPTO switch. They use it on this machine, they use it on Shadow for the mini playfield, and they also use it on Star Wars Episode 1. They can be a problem. There are aftermarket boards that you can buy to replace them. If it is that, just replace the board. Don't muck around trying to fix it. It's a tiny little board. It's not much bigger than 2 matchboxes. That can be a problem. But when it works, it's a great feature. Interestingly, I did look up recently, there was another game that used this similar feature, and it was a Sega game in the early 70s that had a similar thing where the ball would travel on a magnet and you would knock it off.
Right.
Didn't know that until maybe a year or so ago. The other thing that's a problem is these 3 targets, they're right in the impact zone. That plastic can break. I think, in fact, I may have put a thicker plastic on there as well to try and build it up a little bit.
Okay, so you're saying that you actually put another plastic, like a clear one or something?
I think it might be red.
Okay.
It's red.
And where do you get that from? Or did you make it yourself?
I think I might have made it. I think I had a sheet of plastic and I just trace around it and cut it out, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
But also too, I think I've said before, if you back off the nuts, if you do them really tight, there's no play in the plastic. If they're undone a little bit and there's just a little bit of movement, you might find that they last a little bit longer.
Okay.
Now I
kind of like what Stern's doing with all their current games. Just finger tight. So as soon as you play your first game, the screw comes off. No? Similar kind of thing.
It's always the problem with a new machine. When you pick up a new machine, any new machine, the first week you lift the playfield and there'd be half a dozen screws or a couple of nuts and this and the other.
So that's not new. This has been going on since day one, hasn't it?
Yeah, and you think I'll find that, and then the rest of it comes apart. You know, or you go looking and you won't find it. Now I had a problem with this game. The ramp here, the ball would just come back and I'm like, what's going on here? And I ended up, I had to build up, it wasn't lining up square, and I had to put some washers to make it square up. And I also had a problem where the ball goes under the ramp and it drops into a subway, and it comes across to the popper and it comes through here. It wasn't doing anything. I had to build it up. It just wasn't. There wasn't enough roll.
Was that in the early days, or was that more recent?
The first week I had the machine, people were saying the ball goes in there and nothing happens, and I couldn't find anything wrong with it. And then I worked out that the ball was just sitting.
Gotcha.
So that may not be a problem with a lot of machines. Also, too, this is something that came up maybe a few months ago with a friend of mine, Ken, who repairs machines. The gates on either side that hold the ball in. So there's a ball sitting over here at the moment, and if you don't hit it, it sits over here and it waits. The actual gate wire is I think it's a bronze. It's not metallic, because what happens is the magnet comes out with the ball, and if it's a steel gate, it'll try and drag the gate with it, and the ball will come off.
So if you replace that with a steel gate,
it won't work.
It won't work.
Right. You can get them, but if you do replace it, make sure you don't just put a normal steel gate wire in there. It's got to be, I think it's bronze. I'm pretty sure it'll be a bronze sort of type of material, or brass or something like that. So that's something to look for. I've put on these slingshot plastics. They were in the original set. I've redone the cabinet and everything on this one a few years ago. I bought a new set of plastics and they came with it. From what I understand, they weren't installed on the original game because I think it was the actress Winona Ryder hadn't signed off on her image, so they couldn't put them in.
Another Back to the Future scenario.
Yeah. So if you do buy the replacement set, you will get them, and I put them on. I don't suppose Winona Ryder's going to come after me for using them.
Well, it doesn't look like her anyway, does it?
No, not really. So apart from that, I've put a coloured screen in here. The original one had a red tint, so you had a dot matrix with a red tint. From the factory. So if you do put in a coloured screen, you have to get another panel that's got a clear window. Otherwise, it's going to be red no matter what you do.
Gotcha.
So something to think of there. If you do replace it with a coloured screen, you will have to get another speaker panel, unless you want to do the cut piece out.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I can tell this has been on site. It sounds like Amanda was here or something.
Yeah, it's got
in chalk, right?
It does say something like that. Yeah, you've got a lot of people who do. I think it's on your side. The flipper button came out and they just sort of put a bit of sticky tape on there.
Sticky tape to flip the button in.
Yeah, thanks.
You saw it there first, folks.
That's great. Excellent stuff. Yeah, but that's about it for this machine. I don't hate it at all. I think it's a good game. I also put, just for my own purposes, I put one of the clear Lexan overlays on this game just to see how it would play. You can't even, until I said that, you wouldn't have known.
Wouldn't have known. Can't see it.
This game had some problems. The playfield had some problems where you can see it running up there, where you get a lot of crazing, a lot of cracking. And I just thought I'd put one on this game just to see how it played. I know some operators have said that there's a lot of dirt that gets underneath it. It does a little bit, but I just thought I'd try it just to see what the wearing abilities were of it and how it played.
Are you happy with it?
I think it's a good idea. This game also, as far as software goes, there's only one revision. There's revision 1. There is a glitch in this game, and unfortunately, it always seemed to happen with us at Coogee Diggers at Pinball HQ when we were doing a tournament. The ball will sit in the shooter lane, nothing will happen, you can't launch it, you just have to turn off and reset it. There is a glitch in there, so it's something that at the moment we can't do anything about. I have heard of some people updating some of the software, and maybe they'll get to it and find out what the glitch is. But it is a little bit annoying when it happens, because
in the middle of competition,
in the middle of competition, you've got to start again, or they'll turn the machine off and it'll be off for a week. And you get there and turn it on, there's nothing wrong with it. You just say, look, just give them their coin back, just reset it.
So is that what happened to you in the pub over the years? You put something in a pub, a minor issue, they turn the game off for a week.
The one that I used to hate the most was one coin slot would get jammed up, and I'd say, well, there is another one. So just block off that one that doesn't work, and we can use the other one. But I guess people have other priorities and they don't really care as much.
Indeed.
I did come across one Dracula that was missing this. It just wasn't there.
Completely missing.
And they didn't know. I actually managed to get it and put it in, which was good.
Hard to find?
It wasn't actually, and it wasn't overly expensive. I think it was about $40 or $50.
Yeah, right. I also noticed that you can buy Dracula as well separate these days. It's not necessarily, man.
Yeah, I think the original idea was they wanted him to sort of sit up like Monster
Bash, right.
but they just didn't have enough room under the glass to do all the other bits.
So he doesn't do anything?
No, he just sits there and he's lit up, and the ball, when you hit the ball under the ramp, it comes through and comes out there. And,
gotcha.
But it is actually, it's one of those simple game little machines. But as I said, I don't mind it at all. And look, it doesn't earn poorly at all.
Okay, it's all right.
It does okay.
What would you rate out of 10?
Ooh, I think I would be at a 7.5.
Okay, I'm going to go a question mark because again, don't know the game very well. So, but looks like another fun pinball.
Yeah. Look, whenever you get a good license, I mean, I remember the movie. If you do watch the movie, a lot of the speech and the sounds are from the movie, so it does tie in very well with it.
Right. Excellent. We want to see you give it a whirl then.
Okay.
Thank you.
All your life.